So like when I was telling you earlier, as investors, sometimes we don't do inspection periods or we don't get them right.
Right.
So, or sight unseen, whatever it may be. So for a member investor that's just walking through a house, what are some like red flags that you might say that you notice that we can use, whether it's foundation, we always think big ticket items and
Yeah.
stuff. So what are some things that you could share with us to look out for that may be a problem?
One thing that I usually look for in a house that has some age to it
Mm-hmm.
is two-pronged outlets.
Okay.
So we don't see them very often anymore. And if I see two-pronged outlets on the wall, that means that there's no grounding system in that house. The house was built before we had grounding safety installed. So sometimes you'll see those two-pronged outlets replaced with three-prong
Yeah.
outlets just for functionality, just so they can plug the vacuum cleaner into it or plug the surge protector into it, and it has that ground hole. But it doesn't mean that that outlet is grounded.
Right.
So we have to do a little bit more investigating on stuff like that and check the electrical panel. And if that has not been replaced, we know there's no grounding then, and those are fake per se electrical outlets. And that's something easy that you can find out if you look at the electrical panel, and it's dated past, say the 80s, 70s, 80s, and you've got three-prong outlets, you might not have any grounding.
Right.
A simple electrical tester plugging it into it will tell you that it's not grounded. It'll have one light in the middle and just say it's ungrounded.
Okay.
I
It's
could see that in those Central Phoenix houses for sure.
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just about replacing plugs. At that point, you're replacing all the wires and
Yeah.
the electrical panel. And that gets to be a lot of money. And when people are trying to make money off a house
Right.
for a profit, you can't stick all that money into everything. So, some corners are cut, and I don't like to see corners cut for safety reasons. And electrical is one of the biggest safety issues out there. So if you're going to renovate a property and put some money into it, I really think it's really your due diligence to put some of that money into the electrical system and have an electrician, a licensed electrician, verify that that's safe. Whether you're going to be reselling the house or if you're going to be renting it out to somebody, that's huge liability reasons down the road if you're going to be a landlord. So you want to know that your tenants are protected.
So how can you tell from in the electrical panel? So if we're walking through the property, what do you look for?
I would just look for an old panel.
Just old panel. Okay.
Yeah, if you see an old panel and two-pronged outlets,
Mhm.
you likely don't have a grounding system.
Got it.
Yeah.
Makes
You
sense.
you could take off the dead front cover and see if there's a grounding bus bar in there and get really technical, but don't do that. If it's an old panel, it's not safe to open that up anyway. Even inspectors, if we see an old panel that's like 40, 50 years old, we might not pull that cover off just for safety reasons.
Okay. Go to Home Depot and get you a little $15 plug tester.
Yes.
Call it a day.
What happens if you open up the panel? I don't think I've ever thought about that. I've probably opened up every one I've ever seen. Look,
Well, you
no.
said taking the panel off.
Oh, got it. No, I was
Yeah.
thinking you meant the door.
No, so
I'm like, what the heck's
open
wrong
up
with
the
that?
door, and then there's that panel with all
The
the writing
sheet.
on it.
Yeah.
That's what we call a dead front.
Got it.
For that reason, you
Oh,
take that off. Just good.
A lot of the houses we see don't even have that.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't go near it. Yeah, I don't. Yes, okay.
Or they're cut out of cardboard and
Yeah.
somebody like wrote on them.
Rolled on it. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay.
All right, what else?
Another thing I see that I think would be a big thing for real estate agents to understand is the difference between a gas and electric house. It is very easy to tell the difference between a gas and electric house from the street. If you just look at the roof, you look for a B vent. You look for some type of gas venting coming out of the roof. I can't tell you how many times I went to a house for sale to inspect it, and it's listed as a gas, and there's no gas meter, there's no gas flue, or vice versa. And when it comes down to buyers, they're looking for houses that might have gas
Gas.
because there's a lot of people that like to cook with gas.
Mhm.